Last week I was at home painting the kitchen when two men drove up in a rented car. I met them out on the portal, and they were wanting to talk to Neil. Well, when I asked them what about, one of them said they were looking for a hunting lease. Now, I was born at night, but I wasn't born last night. And whoever they were and their suits and their polished shoes, they weren't deer hunters. So I went back inside, and I came out with my double-barrel shotgun and told them that not only were they bad liars, but they were so dumb they were at the wrong house. Don't look so surprised. I've had that shotgun since I was 13 and hunting with my father. Anyway, looking at that sweet little 20 gauge, they suddenly became very contrite. But I thought it was a little too late for that. So I asked them, politely, to sit right down there in the drive and take off their shoes and start walking off my land. No, I was holding a pretty persuasive argument in my hands, so that's exactly what they did. Later that day, I took their shoes and put them in the rental car and drove it out to the gate, left it near the highway with the keys in the ignition. And I never saw them again. 2 days later, though, Wynona Harper come into the cafe, just as I was closing. And as soon as I saw her, I knew something was wrong. She was as white as salt. That morning, she told me, some federal agents had come to her house. But unlike the suits that had come to my house, the feds showed up in cars with government plates. And they had badges and a search warrant. And it wasn't like in the movies, she said. They were very polite, and they didn't tear things apart. But they went through every box, in every closet, looked through every drawer. And when they were done, they took Neil's computer and almost everything in his desk. Now, at this point, Wynona still didn't know what was going on. Until she told me they went into the tool shed behind the house, and they came out with boxes full of cash and old Indian pottery. You know, the kind of pottery that gets dug up on old public lands and then sold to collectors in Santa Fe and Scottsdale. Neil, they told Wynona, had been trafficking in stolen prehistoric artifacts. I mean, now I can't say I was surprised. I mean, I like Wynona a lot. And she's always been a friend to me. But I trusted Neil about as far as I could spit him. Anyway, they handcuffed Wynona. Took her up to Albuquerque for questioning. They released her as soon as it was obvious that she didn't know anything about it. So then she went home and waited to hear from Neil. And then just that morning, the FBI called and they told her they had found Neil's truck out near City of Rock State Park. It had been vandalized and burned. And in the remains, they found what was left of Neil's cell phone and his wallet. They told Wynona to prepare for the worst, meaning don't expect Neil to come home. And that's when she cried. And all for some damn old pottery, she said. But he didn't do it for the pottery. I reminded her. He did it for the easy money. And she took a wad of paper napkins from the holder and dried her face. Neil and I got married right out of high school, she told me. It has been 26 years. So tell me, Hannah, how long do you think you have to live with somebody before you actually know who they are?